Okay, here we are at the top of the creek as far as our property is concerned. And we start here and we sweep past here and head down there, and the house is about 500 meters that away where Duke's Road is. So of course in the winter when the water is flowing, this is waterfalls and really quite dramatic up here, which is why the trail is so difficult to maneuver. Yeah, so it's the beginning, and now we're going to head down and stay as close to the creek bed as we can to give you an idea of where all our water comes for our garden and many other gardens, and it ends up down in Fulford Bay, which this being the headwaters of Fulford Creek. And Fulford Bay is where one of the main ferry routes comes in from Vancouver Island. Where's that little girl? Step back a foot. Really dense, really excellent for firewood. Goes up 50 feet like that. One year in a storm it got blown up and around that branch. Must have been something. This tree is alive. But
yeah.
Tell me when.
No.
So when they logged this, which we figured was about 60 years ago, they wanted to cut it up here. Because they don't cut down here, it's way too much to cut and hard to mill and so on. So they do the cut up there. So they make a notch in here. The bark would have been this thick. They go quite far in, and then they like maybe a 2x10, which they've carted in, schlepped in. And they jam it into that wedge and it goes out this way. And it's bouncy. And they jump up on there and they do the cut. In some cases you'll see another notch on the other side because it's so thick. But there, yeah, it's still there. And this cedar, of course, you know, it's not going to rot away for another 100 years, I don't think. These trees. So the whole creek bed, of course, was like this.
Pan around. Okay.
So we were just standing up on that little knoll up there, and now we're coming down the side of the creek and headed home. So yeah, this stuff that we're standing on, I think it's a kind of coleus because there's a domestic kind that you can buy for your garden that has that leaf. You see, I think this is all one plant actually, all part of one root system. Spread behind you and spread all around. And really nice, kind of a vine. If you pick it up, see what it's like. Not too invasive, so I love it. And then it gives way to the main channel of the creek. And we're still heading due south, back home. Kind of pretty. And I've developed this, taken out the undesirable stuff, and I've left these quite exotic black stemmed ferns. I think they're called spider ferns, but I may be wrong. And the coleus growing, and then this lovely vanilla leaf, which is a spring phenomenon. It completely disappears and it comes up, throws out a beautiful delicate white flower. Vanilla leaf, if you break it open, At certain times of the season, it smells like vanilla. Let's try it. Not right now. Meh. Kind of get. So the salmon lady who built our salmon ponds, which you'll see later, when she came up and saw this creek bed, it was in the summer, but so the water was still flowing, but she could tell by the size of the boulders that it had to have been once, and probably still was, an extremely vigorous flow through here. Otherwise you don't get these big boulders. Not quite sure what, but it makes sense. So actually the water will come up and come right over this bank and sometimes flow right over here. You can imagine. If the dog had jumped in when she was a puppy, she would have been swept away. That's how vigorous it was. Like, I was like, oh, at this point. Just to your right as you're coming up to the little pond, right to your immediate right.